This is Dave, and I'm here with Ethan, and together we are Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, episode 15-inch.
On this episode, we talk to the current host of Mystery Science Theater 3000. He's a host of the Nerdist podcast and host of Jonah Radio podcast, and he's a huge Weird Al fan, Jonah Ray.
It's Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
It's a podcast about Weird Al.
It's Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
Seriously, the whole podcast is about Weird Al.
Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
You don't have to listen, but we're glad you are.
Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
I cannot get enough of that theme song. I love it. It's so amazing. And it's performed by the Grammy-nominated Jim Chemo West.
I listen to that podcast theme song on repeat. I really do. All right, so speaking of Jim, he announced that he was going out on tour in early 2020, and he's part of this group called International Guitar Night, which is a group of guitarists that kind of highlight the acoustic guitar. So it's going to be kind of really cool. He's going to be out from January through March, and they're hitting stops mostly in the Northwest, Alaska, California, Montana, but he is coming as east as Wolf Trap in Vienna. So, hey, we might check that one out, Ethan.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And I was looking into it. It's at the Barns at Wolf Trap, which seems like a very cool venue. And for information and for tickets, you can head over to internationalguitarnight.com. And don't forget, Jim's also doing a solo show on the 28th of August at Square Cat Vinyl in Indianapolis. And that's the day before Weird Al plays in Indianapolis.
Yeah, so let's talk about another band member. This week is John Bermuda Schwartz's birthday, August 18th.
Yes! How exciting.
Yeah, so this always kind of amuses me because Bermuda's birthday falls in August, which is obviously in the summer, which is usually when Al's out on tour. So a lot of times he's outperforming on his birthday. And again, this year, he's outperforming on his birthday. So for you guys who are going to go to Airway Heights, Washington, he will be performing on his birthday as part of Weird Al's band.
Yeah, it's so crazy because we are seeing 6 shows over the next week, and that's the one that we're not going to. I'm so bummed.
We kind of skipped it and not really thinking, oh, this is Bermuda's birthday. It was a little bit far of a drive for us to actually hit that one and make our plans work.
Yeah, I think it was something like, a 12-hour round trip out of our way. So the most bang for our buck did not include that show. But how cool. I mean, you think Bermuda does something special? Does he do an extra long drum solo for his birthday?
I mean, I've seen and heard video clips of Al, kind of wishing Bermuda happy birthday or kind of playing a prank on him. So you never know. I mean, this tour is a little looser than the other tours. I mean, it's still very scripted, but it's a little looser than the other tours. Not as loose as the Vanity tour,
right?
But definitely, is looser than a lot of his previous tours. So you might see some, improvisation from Al on that one. So if you're going to that concert, please report back. Give us a call, 347-SPATULA, and let us know what's going on.
Yeah, or if you're in the band and you want to give us a heads up and any pranks, let us know.
So I was actually curious, how like the band always rebrands themselves after each album?
Right.
Like for example, after Dare to Be Stupid, they were called the Stupid Band, right? So, and I know like after Mandatory Fun, they're called the Mandatory Fun Band. But I don't know that they've ever rebranded themselves for a specific tour. Obviously, the last album was Mandatory Fun. Are they still the Mandatory Fun Band? Or are they the Strings Attached Band? What do they call themselves?
Well, I mean, it sounds like they go based on Al's most recent release. So I think the only logical name is the Hamilton Polka Band. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean... we in Toronto, we're able to learn that the symphony segment is called the Stormtrooper Symphony, but I haven't seen anything talking about what the band is called. I mean, Al's band. I mean, maybe they just revert back to Al's band in a time of no new album, or maybe it's the attached band. I don't know.
They could always call themselves the Weird Al Yankovic Band,
Right.
So that always fits. But sometimes they do personalize it. So I was just wondering if you had heard anything, because I hadn't heard anything either. I guess I'll just call them the Weird Al Yankovic Band, or the band. I think people will know what we're talking about if we call them the band.
Or just the greatest band in the world. People will know what we're talking about as well.
Well, yes, definitely.
Well, technically, after the Hamilton Polka, Jim Kimo West released our theme song, so maybe it's Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast theme song band.
Well, yes, that was an obvious choice.
Obviously, that must be it. As I mentioned, we are going to be going back on the road. I guess we should maybe ask someone. Maybe we'll just ask Bermuda or Al or Jim or someone. I'm sure there's an answer, but very shortly, I will be seeing you again in person in Seattle.
Yes, we're going to be out on tour again, both of us, and Jackie's coming along too, of course. From August 16th through August 22nd, we're hitting 3 concerts in Seattle. Like 2 of them in one day, which is going to be so cool. It's going to be like, we might as well just stay in the venue in Seattle, right?
We don't need a hotel. We just stay in our seats. Well, we do have different seats, which will be interesting because, you get to see the different angles, and it'll be seeing 3 of the same orchestra, like right in a row. So it'll be really interesting to see, or at least compare the first of the 3 to the third of the 3. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun. And then we're also, at least for me, this is the first time this tour that I'll be crossing the Canadian border. I know you've already done that once.
That's right.
But we'll be hitting shows together in Vancouver, British Columbia, Victoria, British Columbia, and Abbotsford, British Columbia.
Yeah, well, I'm really hoping that we'll have at least some time to stop in Chilliwack.
Maybe if you're good. So I know we got a lot of listeners in that part of the world, right? So if you will be there, please stop by, say hello. We will have stickers for you while supplies last, so Make sure you see us. And we might give them all away in Seattle because what else are we going to do while we're passing time?
While we're staying overnight, it'll be quite a journey. So I'm excited to meet some folks out that way that I've only known online. I think it'll be really fun, and we mentioned how busy it is for us, but it's also pretty busy for some, alumni of our podcast. Obviously our guest this week, Jonah Ray, has a new album that is dropping on Friday, the 16th. You Can't Call Me Al. And that'll be available on iTunes and everywhere you can get digital songs. And then, of course, our episode 4-inch guest, TV's Kyle, his new album is out this week. It's called Commodore Touchdown, and it's available on Needle Juice Records. So definitely go check those out.
A lot of Al news this week. So Al was on To Tell the Truth, which was a game show in prime time, and I watched it. And I don't want to spoil it because I don't know if they show these. Usually when it's on prime time, they usually don't re-show these like very often. So you might have to catch it on demand. But if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil whether he wins or not. But let me just say that I think he got robbed.
Okay. So he won, and you think he got robbed because he should have lost. I think that's...
Well, I'm not going to say whether he won or lost.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not even sure if they even told us who won or lost. Well, they told us who lost, but I don't know if they ever told us who won.
Okay.
He did. It was interesting because one of the guests, he actually had to recuse himself because he knew that guest.
You'd think they would do the research. Like, hey, maybe Al knows this person. It's like,
wait, it wasn't like it was well, there was a connection that wasn't obvious. It was a really obvious connection. Somebody should have picked that up. One of the other cool guests, I got to say, one of the funny moments is there was and I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying this, but there was one of the guests was somebody who held the world record for solving the Rubik's Cube with their feet.
Oh, wow.
And we did get to see Al attempt to do that. So it is worth tuning in just to see Al attempt to solve a Rubik's Cube with his feet.
That's amazing. I can't wait. So some other big news that we wanted to mention is that Festive Al is coming back for the second round, and the tickets just went on sale. You can head over to festival.com, and those will be on June 27th and 28th, 2020 in Denver, Colorado. So very exciting. Another fan festival for people to enjoy.
Yeah, those fan festivals are a lot of fun. So, I mean, it definitely, if you get a chance to attend one of them, I mean, you're basically in a room full of people like Ethan and me, obsessed fans of Weird Al. So it's a great fun time. I know we talked a little bit about it, or we will talk a little bit about it when we do our episode about the Weird Al Star Fund and the after show party and how much fun that was hanging out with all the fans. So it will be, it should be a lot of fun to hang out and go see Festival if you can.
And I know tickets are limited, so if you're interested, get those tickets while they are still available. And hey, so it's about time that we talk to Jonah Ray.
Yeah, so our next guest is Jonah Ray, and his EP is so cool. So he takes Al's lyrics and he puts them to his own original punk music that he recorded himself. It's absolutely amazing. It's called You Can't Call Me Al. It's available August 16th on Asian Man Records. Let's get right into this interview.
Very excited to welcome to the program Jonah Ray. How's it going, Jonah?
Hey, how's it going?
It's great. Thank you so much for calling us.
Of course, but let's let the listeners let's be clear. You called me, all right?
Okay, all right, yeah. I
I
forgot.
don't want people thinking I have your numbers.
Yeah, we of course do not let our guests have our numbers. They have our intern Frank's number.
Yeah.
We are
Their number is totally fine,
right.
and of course it'll be published online along with my social security number.
Right, which we do require of our guests. Yes. I'm glad you were willing to go through it. So, Jonah, we, of course, are so excited to talk about, you have a brand new album EP out called You Can't Call Me Al. It officially drops on the 16th of August.
Yes, I'm very excited to have this dumb little thing come out.
I remember, 6 months ago or whatever, you just kind of released it, I think, on Bandcamp, just like hey, this is a thing I did. When did it turn from, hey, this is a fun thing, to, hey, I'm putting out an album?
Well, it was kind of part of the same, and because I just did it because I had the songs, and then my friend Zach from Fiddler, he's like, hey, I got a couple free days at a studio in the neighborhood. You want to just record those songs? Because for him it's just a way to kind of just keep sharp and experiment, and learn how to produce or engineer better in a studio. So he was just kind of yeah, let's do that. It'll be fun. It's almost just kind of a way to hang out,
Yeah.
And then and so when I put it out, it was just I was I don't know. It's I was I don't want to spend money on this thing. I don't it wasn't really for anybody. So I just kind of figured I'd just put it up on Bandcamp just for kicks, just to have it, somewhere.
Yeah.
And then when that happened, some guy, I got to remember his name because he's responsible for it, where he responded to the tweet saying, hey, Mike Park, Asian Man Records should put this out. And then Mike Park from Asian Man Records got a hold of me and was just he's like, yeah, that would be really funny and stupid if we did that. How about a one-sided 12-inch vinyl version of it? We'll do etching. My friend Dana Lechtenberg is a great designer. He was like, let's do etching on the B-side.
That's so cool.
And so it was just kind of this, even in the name of it was my friend Chantel. She was just she's like, oh, that's so silly. You should call it You Can't Call Me Out. And, it was a reference to Paul Simon. It's just everything was just kind of fun and fun and dumb about it. It just felt like it really made me feel like it back when I was younger and just would make stuff for fun.
Right.
And that's kind of what I tried to keep on, moving forward with it. It was just oh, how much can I push this thing? This thing that really has no real it is what it is. And I kind of like it for that.
Right.
Right now, Ethan and I are collectors, and we really appreciated the limited edition 500 version of your EP, and the etched for people who haven't seen the etched vinyl, it's actually a reference to UHF with the name Ray in the little TVs.
Yeah,
which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was done by like I said, Dana Lechtenberg, and it's funny because like there was we were just kind of doing it real fast, and it was funny because it's like Dana just put, because he knew it was going to be on 12-inch vinyl, so he just put 33 as the speed on the label design and on the etching, and it's but since it's an EP on 12-inch, it's at 45 RPM, and so that's one of the things that's wrong with it. There's also when I was doing the layout for the and the design for the back cover and the cover of the album, I missed it. I did the track listing wrong. Like, it's but now we can just say, hey, limited edition. It's like, it's like, did you know the first pressing of that record had some inconsistencies that they were corrected, and now it's worth lots of money on Discogs.
Right. So I actually haven't received my net yet. I know Dave's has come in the mail. I'm very excited. I think it's gonna arrive this week. So I haven't.
Yeah. Did you get the shirt as well?
I did. I got the shirt.
Yeah. See that if you got the shirt, it slowed it down.
Okay.
They had to wait for the shirts to get made.
Yeah. See, that's worth it. That's worth it to me.
Yeah, and that was like another thing. Like Mike Park was like, he was like, hey, I usually like to kind of do like with the pre-orders like a shirt design thing. What do you think? I was like, my wife, who's a great designer, like she was busy with like on an acting job, and I was just kind of like, well, maybe I'll just see if Jay Howell can do it. And Jay Howell, of course, is just a buddy I know from around town, and he's like a punk guy, and he designed Bob's Burgers and Sanjay and Craig and stuff like that. So he was like, give me a week, and then so I tell Mike Park, I was like, hey, we can get Jay Howell if we wait a week to announce the album. And then in that time, I was like, you know what? Now that I have a week, I could probably throw together a music video. And then that's when I figured out the Amish Paradise video.
Yes.
That is so great. I mean, I feel like Amish Paradise is the standout on the album. They're all amazing, but Amish Paradise, there's something about that song that I cannot get your version of it out of my head.
Oh, that's great. Thanks. That's so nice of you. Yeah, it's funny because it's like when I was trying to think of what one, this sounds so dumb, which one would be the single, but which one I would put out first.
Right.
I kind of like, because I really, song-wise, I think Frank's 2000-inch TV is so fun. It's just bouncy,
Yeah.
And I love the lead guitar that Cody Votolato does on it and stuff. But and there's like the hey kind of references to like one of my favorite bands, Avail. But it's just one of those things where I was like, but that's an original Al song that not a lot of I would say squares would know. Like it's only kind of like for Yanka heads.
Right. Is that what we're called, Yanka heads? I like that.
I just came up with it, and it feels right. It feels right. But like, so it was with that. It wasn't like, like Eat It is not. It is it's an acoustic ballady one, so it doesn't really represent the album. And then Dare to Be Stupid is just so incredibly short. And so like Eat It was just kind of, for me, I can't tell, they're all my babies,
right?
But it really is like one of those things where I was like, this will be the one, and people are all saying that it's their favorite song on the EP, which is a bummer, because now for them it's all diminishing returns when they listen to the rest of it.
Well, one thing I really love about the project is, as an Al fan, I'm an Al fan before I'm a fan of any other music. And it's very rare that we get our, my music, done in a different way, because I love Al's lyrics. There's no compassion for Gangsta's Paradise or Beat It. Mm-hmm. I want to hear the Al lyrics. So getting a remaster of Al's brilliant lyrics is it's just the greatest for me. I want more of this.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like, for me, the idea of even doing it at first was just I just like playing guitar, and I like singing, for myself, like when I'm just hanging around the house. And I don't like, if I just start to kind of freestyle lyrics, I get self-conscious because I almost kind of reveal like, very weird truths about myself to myself. like if someone overheard me just kind of freestyling like lyrics while I'm just playing guitar at home, they would think that I am suicidal. And so with this, it was just kind of like, I was like, well, I know Weird Al lyrics by heart, so I'll just use those as a just something to do. And then it just kind of felt fun. It was just a fun, dumb thing. Like, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of, and then like I found myself going, oh, I think I kind of came up with a really catchy chorus for Amish Paradise, or like, you know, just even the other day I was like working on my version of a version of Trigger Happy.
Oh, cool.
You know, yeah. And I don't know if that'll get recorded or if you know, at the album release party, I'm going to try and record the set, maybe just, you know, do like a little live 2-songer, because I might try to also do Happy Birthday, which in itself is already a great punk song.
Oh, totally. That is
I
so
was
cool.
gonna say, yeah, you picked 4 great songs to cover. And it's really hard to go wrong with Al's catalog. Dare to Be Stupid, Frank's 2000-inch TV, Amish Paradise, and of course, Eat It. You kind of answered one of my other questions I was going to ask. Is there anything else that you were looking forward to covering that you didn't cover on this album? And
Yeah, I mean, well, there was it was you know, it was one of those weird things where I just had those, and then when Zach asked me if I wanted to record them, I said yeah, and and there wasn't enough time to like really kind of dig in and write some more. I do kind of think it would have been nice to fill it out, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would ever, you know, continue to do this. I don't know if I did another one of these, maybe I would, you know, do these, you know, new versions of Adam Sandler songs, you know. Or if I would do like you know, a punk rendition of The Longest Pee. I don't know, you know. But it's yeah, those would be like, it's like Trigger Happy it's such a great, the lyrics are just so good and also very kind of timely, and then you know, it's same with like Happy Birthday is just such a nihilistic song, and the juxtaposition of just like the peppiness of it. It really just is a punk song. It's just really, it's nihilistic, and it's talking about what's wrong. Like, and he's not like, and like some of the stuff is bigger. Like he makes it comical. Some of the stuff that he's like, you know, calling out in Happy Birthday, but a lot of it is just like, well, yeah, I mean, that is an issue. You know, but it is just kind of something I don't know if I would continue more. And then also, that was the other thing. I had a version of the Every Country Has a Monster song,
right,
from MST, from Reptilicus. I already kind of had that one just for kicks as well, because that's, you know, those are lyrics I had to learn, and now I can't get them out of my head. You know, it's like I had to memorize those words to that rap, and then so like that was just another thing, just like the other things. I'm playing guitar and I have a riff I like, and I kind of have a tune I want to sing, so I'll just sing the lyrics I know. And so that's why that's on that record too, you know.
So was that like an after thing, or you already had that and you were like, then you
I already had it.
Okay.
I had it, and so I kind of just figured like might as well record it when we were there, you know. Cool. And then also it's that maybe that extra I don't know, that extra little like dumb twist of and then I also did another version of another comedy song. You know, it's it kind of, it for sure pulls away from the general theme of it, but I don't care. It was fun, and I like the riff, and it, you know, and it's got my friend Neil Mahoney doing a Yeti growl in it, which is very funny.
Well, it's, you know, it kind of intersects the nerds. I mean, the Al fans like Dave and I were going to get it. You know, the Mystery Science Theater people are going to get it. Now it's, you know, the people who are just fans of your comedy are going to get it. It's like a big Venn diagram of just like, you have to listen to You Can't Call Me Al.
Yeah, it's the Jonah Ray quadrants.
Yeah.
But that was, you know, it's when I doing it, there was no intention of who would like it and why. It wasn't a thing that like I was making it going, oh man, people are gonna go crazy for this one. Oh man, my fellow nerds, they're gonna hoist me up upon their shoulders. The nerds that like, you know, Weird Al, Mystery Science Theater, and Screeching Weasel. Oh, they're gonna go crazy for this one. It was literally something done out of just nervous energy, needing to be distracted, and so being creative.
I can imagine some people maybe are hearing about this for the first time hearing this interview, and they're probably bummed to hear that it's completely sold out. Is there going to be a re-release? Could we potentially see something else? I know I heard maybe there's a cassette tape coming out. What kind of stuff can people look forward to?
Yeah, well, Burger Records, they're just these great kids out of Orange County. They put out cassette tapes, and it's funny. Sometimes people go, "Oh, cassette tapes? What a hipster thing!" Totally forgetting that not everybody has a nice car. Sometimes people just have a cassette tape deck in their car and also want to listen to stuff that's new.
Right.
But it's so these guys, and they were in this incredible band called The Makeout Party, who had one of my favorite records. It was an album called Make Believe. And anyway, so they have this record store down in Fullerton in Orange County, and then they have this tape label. They put out a ton of stuff, and they kind of do the tapes for Sub Pop Records and all these other kind of cool indie labels. But so and they're huge Weird Al fans and Mystery Science Theater fans as well. And I've kind of known them here and there just through the punk scene for going on like 15, 20 years or something like that out here. And so they were totally down for doing the cassette version of it. So that'll be coming out, and then we will probably be doing a second pressing of the vinyl, and that of course will have the correct order of the track listing. I think the etching on the B side, I think that's a loss. That'll just always say 33. And I think we're gonna just maybe I have an idea because we could do colored vinyl, or clear vinyl or some kind of design. But I really want to see what the price point is, and I just saw this last night. Because you could do a picture disc on vinyl, which is just any kind of image. And I thought it'd be really funny if it was a picture of hands holding the first pressing of the record
on the record.
And then so any subsequent pressing, you would just do that again and again, so it just kind of becomes smaller and smaller, like an infinity mirror.
I love that idea.
Yeah, I know. But it's one of those things that's really counting on okay, that's we sold 500. So if we sell another 500, then we'll be able to do the next joke, which will that sell another 5? It's that thing of, this is probably decades long search to do that to where it really starts to look dumb and cooler.
Well, you could at the very least put out less than 500 and I'm sure there's an equation you could figure out where how many people are going to rebuy it just to have the next edition. Dave and I will get another one. I know other Al collectors are going to get another one. If you put out 400, we're all going to get that. Then you put out the next one, do 300. It's just going to... You're going to print money.
Just really just screwing over the collectors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just that scratching that itch of those guys that go, I don't want it again, but I need to complete the thing.
That just happened with the Stranger Things soundtrack. They put out 9 different variations on vinyl and CD and cassette, and I'm just it's only one Al song. It's only My Bologna, but I have to get all of them, and it's I have to order some from England, and I got to order something from Urban Outfitters. It's so annoying.
Yes.
But yeah,
it is. It's manipulative. It's just it's really just capitalism unchecked. And screwing people over that just have this mental defect.
Yeah.
I need it all.
They're taking advantage of mentally messed up people like myself. So are you a collector? Do you collect stuff?
I used to be really. I used to have a huge VHS collection up until maybe about 8 years ago or so. I was collecting vinyl for a while. It's just one of those things that as I got older and my wife and I live in a small place, and so it's one of those things where I started to kind of I'm starting to buy less stuff.
Right.
I'm starting to just kind of be well, this is just stuff and it's taking up room in my life, and if I don't buy the stuff, then maybe I could save up money, and my wife and I could go on a trip to somewhere we've never been, and those experiences and those times and those memories might be worth a little bit more than this this record store day version of Earache My Eye from the Up and Smoke soundtrack. Yeah, so I cut it out. I got rid of all of my VHS, and it's just it's tough. It's like weird because I still want to support brick and mortar,
Right.
and I want to support independent record stores and bookstores and stuff like that. But it's I just it's something about just having stuff. It just kind of piles up, and I've been to like a lot of fancy people's houses, and sometimes you see it that they just kind of have these rooms just full of stuff, or even sometimes where it's almost like it's like their house is just full of fan art of them, and it's almost a monument to them. And it's just it started really kind of messing with my head. I go, you can't take this stuff with you. I'm not gonna have a museum. It's like here's all of Jonah's stuff. Here's some back issues of the Wolverine saga that he never got rid of. That still is only worth $10.
Yeah, but you think it would be worth a little bit more if it comes from Jonah Ray's collection. You get a little
maybe.
Bit of
I'd hope so eventually. But, you never know. That's I never like to count on anyone's interest in me.
Something that you might have collected even now and as a younger child was probably Weird Al's albums.
Yes.
So I want to know, what was your first exposure to Weird Al? What was your first album, your first song, first time hearing Al?
So I got in like the first CD I got from Al was Even Worse, but it would already have been out for a bit, but I thought he was cool, and I was just starting to really get into music. Like I just saw my first concert, which was Metallica, so live music and people playing music, and then I was also really into comedy. So to be into music and comedy, Al's just kind of, it's right there. It's perfect.
Yep.
It really is like a music fan's. I've said this for years, where it's like I love music, and Al is a guy that you can hang out with to make fun of music with and still enjoy it. I always thought that was about like Mystery Science Theater, where it's like I love old cheesy movies, and this is the show where you can hang out with your friends while making fun of it. Like it's comedy and the other thing I like, which is always my favorite thing.
Right.
Almost kind of like how people like The Daily Show or John Oliver, where it's news and they get to laugh. It's these things that kind of are nice combinations where you put comedy onto it, and it's that much better. So like when Al came out, like when I found a Weird Al, I was like, this is what I've been looking for. And so the next album to come out, like the one that I could, it's like anticipate and then go to the store the day it comes out and buy it, was Off the Deep End. And that one was just, it meant the world to me, just because it was one of those things where as I was starting to go to the record store, and now I was like, oh, the Weird Al album's coming out, time to go to the store and get it. And so that one is like the first real one that I got that wasn't like, me and my brother getting the thing that we thought was funny, which was Even Worse.
Right.
And also, of course, like UHF was huge for us as well, because that, like, I think, even UHF was like the thing that really got me really super into Weird Al.
Yeah, it continues to do. It's this legendary movie that it's like a great introduction to Al, but also just great humor and parody and everything together.
It really is like I always think it's if SCTV like became a movie. If someone took the idea of SCTV and made it into a movie, that's UHF to me. I remember I was saying that about online. Some guy was like, they made a movie. It's called Strange Brew. And I was like, that's like saying, the Blues Brothers or Wayne's World is an SNL movie. They're characters from SNL, but they're not like, it's like UHF is one of the best sketch movies, because it is a ton of little parody sketches. It is a ton of little, like vignettes of comedy. So it's a story, and it's all, it has a whole storyline and everything like that, but it really is a sketch movie with a great congruent emotional story arc. And so that one is like, it's one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Is it safe to say that was in your VHS collection?
Yes,
Okay.
That's one of the ones I still have the VHS.
Oh, cool.
I didn't get rid of all of them. I have that. I have Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie on VHS. I have and I have the movie Rad on VHS, which was of course the BMX movie from '87.
So,
But it's so that's it really is just. I think UHF is probably really up there for me, and I'll put it right next to Brain Candy from Kids in the Hall. So
you mentioned Mystery Science Theater, and obviously you are the host of Mystery Science Theater. How did that come to be?
I met Joel Hodgson, and then we ran into each other a few times while he was in town once, and then we just kind of became friends, and he just started talking to me. He started looking up stuff I had done before, so he saw a lot of my just a lot of my comedy stuff, I just right when we were kind of getting going, right when he was starting to talk to me about maybe starting up Mystery Science Theater again, he was like, yeah man, send me anything you got. And I had just done the pilot for a show I made called Hidden America, and it's just kind of one of those things where he just kind of started saying, hey, maybe you could be a writer if I bring it back, or maybe you can be a producer or a director on it. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I'd do anything. I'd be a PA on it if you asked me to. And then finally he was just kind of, he was just like, I've just been thinking about it, man. I think you're just the guy. And then so it just kind of, in real Joel fashion, just kind of slipped out of his mouth, and then it was what we all had to deal with.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. And it's still, it's funny because, of course, I have to when I'm interviewed or when I do cons and Q&As and stuff like that, I have to talk about it. And I don't know if I'm completely being truthful with how much it means to me when I talk about it, because of how crazy it still feels. And I don't know if I'll ever really, I think it's going to be years down the line before I'm ever able to really process it and talk about it in a emotionally intelligent way, with how big it is to me and how much it means to me and how crazy it is. Because if I kind of, as you notice, I'm kind of starting to stammer because I don't really know what to say about it besides it's crazy, it's a dream come true.
Right.
And who does that? And why me? Why, I should be saying why not me, but I have low self-esteem, so of course I go, why me? It should be somebody else.
I would like to challenge you to convert that feeling into Weird Al fandom. So to me or Dave, what could happen to us that would be equivalent to you becoming the host of Mystery Science Theater? Do we have to become Weird Al?
Yeah, I'd say so. If Weird Al became almost, and it's very possible he stayed youthful for a very long time. So if we were to say that Weird Al is the Dread Pirate Roberts from Princess Bride, where throughout the decades, to stay relevant, he tosses it down to another person who goes through some, plastic surgery to kind of make it seem like he kind of is the same guy that's aged a little bit. And so I think that's the only. It's so weird to me because because it's so one-to-one. I get to be in Mystery Science Theater, but I'll never get to be Weird Al. It's a real. I've had lots of other things in my life where it's with Hidden America, I was I got to do a sketch show, how I always wanted, but I didn't get to be a kid in the hall. I'm not Kevin McDonald,
right?
It's I never got to be in Saturday Night Live. That meaning I never got to be Mike Myers or Chris Farley. It's such a it's a real one-to-one thing that But yeah, so if you can figure out how to get on that line of Dread Pirate Roberts, Weird Al, pecking order,
I'll sign up for that.
I think you guys are set.
Yeah.
I think you guys are set with that.
We know the trivia, we know the lyrics. I think we could do it.
yeah, exactly. Actually, my high school quote, my senior year quote, was rejected, but it was supposed to be a Weird Al line, which is a real. It reveals a lot of how I felt about myself in high school. But it was stuck at the gas station of love, and I have to use the self-service.
I can't imagine why they would have denied you to use that.
I thought it, in my head at the time. I was like, they will have no idea.
Yeah.
Because Al's so clever with his jerk off joke.
So you have a release show coming up this month for You Can't Call Me Al.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be at the Hi Hat, which is like a really fun venue in my neighborhood in LA. And one of the bands that I've loved for a very long time, and I'm friends with Toys That Kill. It's like when I first moved out to LA, I was kind of lived on the same street as them, and they're my friends when I first moved out here. And I was obsessed with their band before that called FYP. And so like they're playing, which is really really cool. And then Tim Kasher, who was in this band that was legendary when I was younger, called Cursive. He's playing a set, and then my friends have this dumb band called Karate the Band, which is just a punk band, and all the songs are about karate.
That sounds great.
Yeah, they have songs like Karate Fight School, Go Karate Go, Karate Graveyard is probably one of the more fun ones. It's kind of like a Misfits song about all the ancient karate ghosts that haunt this karate graveyard. And then Colleen Green was supposed to do it, but she had to cancel because she forgot that she has shows in Seattle, which is if you are aware of who she is, it's not the biggest surprise that she would flake and forget about. She's kind of into marijuana. And then my friend Mike O'Brien, who was on SNL and of course has the show AP Bio. He's always making jokes where he's like, why aren't you covering Party of the CIA? You have to do a version of Party of the CIA. And so I was like, hey man, I'm doing this release show. Do you want to do it? He was like, yes. Should we try and figure out Party of the CIA? I was like, well, that might be a bit much to like pull together with our schedules. But how about I'll get a bongo. And you can do a beat poet version of the lyrics to Party in the CIA. So he's going to do that.
Oh, I really hope you put out a recording of this. I need to hear all this. Of course,
yeah.
We are too far away, unfortunately. And we are going to be at Al shows during the record release.
Yes, which I saw last night.
Yeah. So is this your first time on this tour?
Yes, first time on this tour, which was awesome to see. And it was what I loved about this show, which of course is with strings attached. It was really cool. It was like cool hearing all these accompaniments and stuff like that, and like only adding, never really taking away or overshadowing. But it felt like a great combination of a classic Al, spectacle show with the videos and some costume changes and stuff like that. But it was also like still intimate and loose, like last year's Vanity tour, which was my favorite Weird Al show I've ever seen.
I think Dave and I would agree that the last tour was just unbelievable for super fans, but I agree that this tour he brought in some of those favorites from the Ill-Advised tour into this one, stuff that I would never expect to see on a major Weird Al tour.
And also the idea that and the thing I really liked about the Ill-Advised Vanity tour was you really finally got to see, it's like, oh wait, this is a rock band that's been playing together for decades.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're on tour every year all the time. It's like they're friends. And you kind of got to see this intimate show where they're playing songs and they kind of look at each other and smile, like it's like, oh yeah, these guys they're just a rock band. These guys are just a band. And they're good and they're tight and they're good at their instruments, and there was this kind of looseness and casualness to elements between, and that's really kind of like what I like about this tour is that it still has all the big spectacle stuff, but it still has this kind of like intimate feeling to it.
Yeah. Which live song that you saw on either of those tours really just blew you away? Were you really excited to see here?
When he did on last night, he did Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota, which was just so like the emotions of it were so raised because of having the orchestra behind him. And that song, I love that song so much, and it was just when the chorus goes like the biggest ball of twine, it felt so big, and it was just one of those things where I was like, you kind of get emotional because it's like a combination of, this is so cool that I get to see this still. I love the song. There's nostalgia. It's just one of those, great music moments when you go see live music, And I love that they did Fun Zone, with an orchestra
Yeah.
leading into it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really cool. And then with the last year's tour, when he did, I mean, I never thought I would see Albuquerque done. Like, I never thought that would be something I saw live.
Right. You got to see it last year?
Yeah, I got to see him play Albuquerque
that's awesome.
last year.
That's great.
Yeah, and so that was that was huge. That was like, just a mind-blowing thing, and especially too when he like does like, where was I, and then starts over, and just so you're like, oh my god.
I would love to hear you do a punk cover of Albuquerque or Biggest Ball of Twine, like one of the long songs, like just to.
Dude, I am way too lazy for that. You heard the songs. I don't even do all the verses for like Dare to Be Stupid, which is like a 2.5-minute song. I made it into like 45, 50 seconds. I have like a real. I kind of get like a short attention span. I just go. I go. Here's the bit. Gotta get it done with.
Well, you could just perform "I Hate Sauerkraut" over again.
I could just turn that into like a really hard, heavy, moshy, like hardcore song.
Yeah.
Called "I Hate Sauerkraut."
And then you could throw in like some of the other lyrics just kind of randomly.
Yeah. Every single morning.
I would love that. So you just mentioned Dare to Be Stupid, and I gotta ask about when Al came on your show on Comedy Central and performed Dare to Be Stupid.
Yeah, so I really wanted him on when he came on The Meltdown, which is mine and Kumail Nanjiani and Emily Gordon show on Comedy Central, and he was like, yeah, I mean, but what would I do? Like, I emailed him being like, it's like, he's always been really great. Like when I was writing on Web Soup, he came and like did a bit that I wrote, and then like he came and did a bit on Hidden America, and it was just like he's always been very sweet to me and stuff like that. So like I say, hey, I really want you on The Meltdown. And he's like, yeah, but I don't really do stand up, and I don't really like have a character. I don't know if I have time to like feel comfortable like coming up with something and then running it. And then I was like, okay, here's my pitches. You do Dare to Be Stupid. I set you up with like a superstar lineup of current punk stars, and then we do that thing where when the band Fear played SNL, when John Belushi had Fear play, and then they brought in a bunch of punks to just slam dance on SNL, and it got cut out, of course. I was like, we could do that with Happy Birthday. We could do Dare to Be Stupid with you and Mark Mothersbaugh just standing there pressing play on a backing track. And he's like, I like that. That's very funny. And then so we were reaching out to Mark Mothersbaugh, and there was like a lot of, I'm kind of busy and kind of this, and then Al kind of messages me separately saying, he's like, this is starting to feel like a really polite go screw yourself. So I was like, okay. And then I was like, I don't know, maybe something like some kind of alternate version, and then like an orchestra or this or that. And he's like, I've always thought about doing versions of the song with like a string quartet. I was like, we'll do that. We'll do Dare to Be Stupid with a string quartet. And now I take full credit for Al's current tour.
Yeah. Technically, yeah. You were the first.
I think that was the inspiration for the Strings Attached tour. It's obvious.
Yeah. I haven't heard him say it, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. I feel like he said it by not saying it.
Yeah.
So,
that was really great.
Do you think that we'll ever? So, asking as a collector, will there be a DVD of the 3 seasons of The Meltdown with Jonah and Kumail?
Man, I wish. I don't know if I don't know. That would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
I think they're all on Amazon Prime now. But a collection like that would be really, really cool.
It'll be so fun.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's Comedy Central and it's Viacom, and it's just such a colluded, or just like it's just so many things going on, so many different people in charge. It'd be hard to like right now, like I have the rights to Hidden America, so I'm gonna self-release like those DVDs, and
cool.
do some extras and some commentary and stuff like that. Just because I like the idea for, you collectors.
Right. Just don't give us 500 versions of it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll save that for this
Yeah.
cover EP.
No, I mean, I don't want to, poke the bear with this, but I mean, with Meltdown gone, it's a sad thing. Do you think it's ever coming back? Do you think that there will ever be a club like that in LA again?
Yeah, I mean, this stuff happens. It's all cyclical. There's always going to be some place that will be like right now. I really think the next spot in LA is a place called the Lyric Hyperion Theater. They're just doing so many great weird shows. They got they got like that kind of avant-garde clown school that's been doing like jams in there, and like not like paint on the face clown, but like weird performance, improvise clown stuff. It's a different style of acting. It's not like the way we know clown. It's more of like the acting style of clown, like the stuff that was kind of it's very physical. But like, and they're just doing tons of weird, cool stuff at that space, and it feels like it's just as experimental and weird, and even more so, I think, than Meltdown ever got.
I actually got to see Weird Al there. He was a guest on a live taping of Kevin McDonald's show at Lyric Hyperion. Awesome. It was awesome. It was such a cool space.
Yeah, it's really cool, and like it's just like I think they got a good mind about them, about like letting weird stuff happen. A lot of places they just kind of have to, if it's not big, they don't really care, and so they're looking real experimental. So I have it's always going to exist in some way somewhere,
Yeah.
But sometimes like special places like the Meltdown just happen, and then it's like people will talk about it for a while, and then they'll forget about it, and then something almost exactly like it will show up, and people will be like, oh, this is like that other show that happened. And we're also a version of something else that happened,
right.
Early Largo or something like that.
Jonah, it's just been amazing. I mean, hearing about the process, and of course, it's always great talking to someone who is a big Weird Al fan, who has been able to, rise the ranks, become a Mystery Science Theater host, and put out an album with Weird Al songs. I mean, you're living the dream. It's very cool.
Thanks. Yeah, it's funny the way you phrase that. It's like it's always cool to hear someone that did these things. Like there's like multiple.
Right.
Like it's always cool to hear from those. That type of guy that is really into Weird Al and also gained a career in comedy, became the host of Mystery Science Theater. Just one of those types.
Yeah.
One of those types of guys. Yeah.
That's what we look for on our show.
Yeah, I feel it's really important to wear your heart on your sleeve and your inspiration on your sleeve, because it's it's a way to kind of show appreciation for people that came before you and stuff like that. So it's also really cool to be able to be talking to another couple Weird Al fans that I can just talk about Weird Al, and it's like it's on a podcast. Like that's crazy. That's really exciting. That's the thing that can exist in this world.
And that's where the podcast came from. Is Dave and I, we needed someone on our level that we could talk to, and each other.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it's just the fact. It's like last time I got to go to the show, and I got to go like backstage, and I'm not. This is not me bragging, but it also kind of is because of like that's the thing about a lot of the stuff I do. It's very exciting, and I feel blown away by the fact that I get to do it, and I do like to talk about it. It's and it's funny because I was just reading the Eric Idle book, Always Look on the Bright Side, and he's like really good about like just name dropping left and right about certain situations he's been in and things he's done and people he's hung out with, and it's one of those things where I go, yeah, dude, you're talking about it because it's awesome that it happened.
Right.
But but what I was saying is like I got to go, like my life is so weird and wonderful that I got to go see Weird Al play, and I bought my tickets, and I texted him. I got to text him and say, hey, I can't wait for the show. He's like, oh, I would have given you passes. And then I was just like, yeah, but you also know I would have given you the record I made for free, but I know for a fact that he mail ordered it.
Wow, that's so cool.
Oh.
Yeah, and so like he's like, point taken. I'll give you backstage passes. And so I got to. It's like I'm very very fortunate and very very lucky, and it's just like it's the whole thing is just a way for me to like celebrate. It's the only way I really knew how to properly celebrate my love for Weird Al. Besides trying to make a sequel to UHF.
Right. Is that coming down the pipe? Can we look forward to that?
Man, I that's all I want is to do a sequel to UHF, or like the idea that Al becomes kind of the like like U62 actually becomes the establishment, because that's kind of what happens in these situations.
Right.
Like he was the underdog, then U62 becomes like almost like a network cable channel, and he's lost that feeling, that drive that made him. And then I play like this younger guy that's like saying, it's like, we got to do weird stuff with the programming, and like it's all about non-linear TV. We got to take this thing onto the internet, and like and then I start doing all this crazy stuff that he used to. That's all I got so far. But I can surely tell you that Victoria Jackson won't be involved.
No. Michael Richards.
The interview over. Also, just to reiterate, this is not a thing that is actually happening.
No.
It's just my fantasy.
I just hope that there's a role for me in that fantasy. I would love to be in.
Of course,
too.
you'll be
Okay.
playing the role of Carrie Owens.
Excellent. A role I was born to play.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for chatting, guys.
Yeah, Jonah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
We can get it, I'm sure, on iTunes starting on the 16th. Is that correct?
Yeah, on Friday the 16th, it's going to be on all digital platforms. So iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. It's going to be on Bandcamp. It's going to be, it's going to be like on all the streaming stuff. And I'm also on that Friday. It's going to be putting out a video for Frank's 2000 Inch TV that I did with my friend Josh Forbes.
Oh, nice.
Which is a heavy. Let's just call it a Forrest Gump tribute to UHF.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
And of course, the record release show, August 24th at the Hi-Hat. If you're in the LA area, go check that out. Jonah, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
What a great interview. I loved talking to Jonah, and so excited that starting Friday, August 16th, he can pick up his brand new EP, You Can't Call Me Al, anywhere digital music is sold.
And I'm really looking forward to those cassettes when they do come out.
Yes, I'm going to have to get a cassette player just to listen to it.
When he was talking about having old cars with cassette players, I wonder if he's going to cater to anybody who still has an 8-track in their cars.
That would be really great if he did. And I bet he will, just to mess with us. So there's one more edition that we have to get.
You know what? I'm a little bit disappointed that we aren't going to be able to make it out to his record release party.
That sounds like it's going to be so much fun, but we will be at Weird Al shows, so we'll be doing our thing. We have a good excuse, and we don't live anywhere near there. But yeah, our final 6 shows of the tour coming up, the Pacific Northwest. It's gonna be exciting. So I'm excited to do those, and then of course record our bonus episodes.
Yeah, our bonus episodes are a lot of fun. So if you haven't been listening to them, I'm not quite sure what you're doing with all your free time, because obviously, they're bonus episodes. They don't necessarily have to be listened to in order, but if you do have a little time and you want to check out what we're doing at the concerts, we are very thorough with our reviews of these concerts. And of course, they do contain spoilers, so we do understand if you do want to wait until you've seen the concert yourself before listening to them. But once you've seen that concert, definitely check out these bonus episodes. They are a lot of fun to make, and they're a lot of fun to listen back at. And I know that we do get a lot of comments on our bonus episodes, so I'm very, very proud of them.
And speaking of comments, you can always message us, send to us, comment, all that. All over social media. We're Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All of our usernames are at 2000inch, and then of course 2000inch.com is our website. We got a Facebook group. We even have our very own hotline.
Yes, 347 Spatula. It's a real phone number, 347-772-8852. You can leave us a message anytime, day or night. We love hearing from our listeners, and we may even play your message on the air.
Speaking of our listeners, thank you again. We love you guys. Thank you for all your support and for downloading and listening, liking, subscribing, all of that stuff. Tell your friends to subscribe. It means a lot to us. You can listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, really anywhere podcasts are sold. And by sold, I mean free. And by sold, I also mean if you come to my car in the parking lot, I will sell you burned CDs of these episodes.
Yeah, and if you subscribe, that is the only way you will be ensured that you can get the episode the second they are released. We have a new full episode on every Wednesday, and of course our bonus episodes, which come out basically whenever we want. So you will want to subscribe if you haven't already, because we have some great guests coming up over the next several weeks, and you're absolutely going to love next week's guest. He really doesn't need any introduction because he's a member of the Weird Al band, and he is John Bermuda Schwartz.
Yes, and he will be on our podcast for the second time, which is very exciting because we spoke to him during UHF month, so we'll get a non-UHF focused interview. And man, that was a lot of fun to record with him.
Oh yeah, absolutely fun. You definitely want to check that one out. That was Dave and Ethan's 2000 Inch Weird Al Podcast, episode 15 Inch.
I hate sauerkraut. Shut it down?